All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashum, Yahweh Shai, Bahashum, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, whom rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful that got there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh, Bahashum, Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right. And what I want to get into today is dealing with this term, this phrase, that we hear often, the chickens come home to roost. Okay. And this is what we're seeing, okay, as it pertains to prophecy. Prophecy is a result, okay, of the Lord's will playing out in the earth. And it's a result to the action, the conduct, okay, of this society, beginning with the leadership, Esau, Edom. Okay. Now, when you go into that term, come home to roost, it says of an action, scheme, etc. It says recoil unfavorably upon the originator. Okay. So you can go into that term, it's used, in a negative way. All right. And it can be negative, and it can be, in righteousness, a positive thing. Okay, as the chickens are coming home to roost. All right, for the elect in the form of salvation. All right, being changed. Okay, and rulership. You see, but for everyone else, it's going to be, all right, a punishment. Evil times, torments. Okay, now when you jump down in the AI overview, it says, what is the meaning of coming home to roost? It says coming home to roost means the past actions, especially bad ones, have eventually led to negative and often unexpected, all right, and negative and often expected consequences for the person who did them. The phrase suggests that problems are coming back to affect the individual, much like chickens return to their roost at the end of the day. Okay, so now we're in a time where people have been, see, there was a time, when people were just out doing them, okay? And it was a period of, all right, everybody just enjoying the moment, because this term comes from, a chicken, how you had this term with chicken called free range, and that chicken is just out, ranging, okay, the farm, okay, or the land, out there eating it, just being out there to themselves. Okay, doing them. All right. But every evening, they will come home to roost, right, which is their rooster. Okay. Now, when you keep going into it, because this is how, the world has been running, where everybody's just been out doing them. Okay. But now, all right, their actions, all right, are coming back. You see, now these actions, everything that they've done, they've been free ranging in the world. Well, now all this getting ready to come back. Okay, all those actions are getting ready to come back and affect them now. Okay, it says figurative meaning said past deeds have consequences. It describes a situation where someone's previous mistakes or wrongdoings are now causing them problems. You see, so from Esau Edom, beginning with him, all right, the way that this man runs the earth, okay, in complete wickedness, okay. This man is finna lose, man. Now everything is coming home to roost, man. The way that he wages war, all right, he's just been a bully in the earth, with the sword he was blessed with. Well, all this finna come back. Those missiles coming to America are the chickens coming to roost, man. Okay, because Esau just been having his way out here. He's just been roaming the earth, all right, destroying with the sword. Well, all this finna come home to roost. Those missiles are going to be chickens coming home to roost, man. Okay, that's going to turn this place to a desert. Okay, and that's the result of Esau, all right, and using America, okay, as the centerpiece of wickedness in the world. Okay, this is what it's getting ready to produce is what? Nuclear destruction. Okay, it says a boomerang effect. It said the phrase implies that what one puts out into the world will eventually return to them, often negatively, man. Okay, like I said, you see Esau, all right, you see niggas, see the troops, boots on the ground, okay, in these Jake neighborhoods. That's the chickens coming home to roost. All this wickedness that niggas have done, all right, to each other, okay. All the wickedness and madness and this unruly behavior, okay, that Jake has been on. You see, Jake produced these results. Okay, boots in the hood, okay, is the chickens coming home to roost. All that violence that Jake put out. Okay. Now everything is coming home to roost, man. This is what Jake has this is the results of this free range action of niggas is now boots are in the neighborhood now. Okay, the nigga woman. Okay, Miss Independent. I got it. I can do it by myself. Don't need a man. Government assistance. All these now the chickens are coming home to roost. Okay, now what you see homelessness of the nigga woman at all time high. She's been now she got to be a scammer. Now she don't know her next move. Now, the government pulling the rug out from her. This is all right. The chickens coming home to roost. Okay, Eve trusting in the enemy. Okay, and being weaponized by the enemy, man. And Eve has done a lot of wickedness, man. There's a lot of women that has done a lot of wickedness, man. Has produced a lot of wickedness, man. Okay, and now all that's coming back. That's why you have a lot of these sons, all right, are unaliving their mothers, man. Okay, the Lord God to where you're raising, all right, your own judgment, the nigga woman. Okay, you're feeding it, you're feeding your own judgment, man. Sheltering your own judgment. Okay, and that's the chickens coming home to roost for decision making, man. All right, poor decision making. Now let's go to some precepts. Okay. Um. Well, let's go to the literal meaning, like we spoke on. It says the phrase is rooted in the literal behavior of chickens, which return to the roost. All right, a perch or place to rest at dusk. The literal image serves as a metaphor for the inevitable return of one's actions to affect them personally. Okay, so that's why now when you go, let's go here. This is Jeremiah 17:10. It says, um, I, the Lord, search the heart. All right. I try the reins. And even it says, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. Okay. Them chickens coming home to roost either way. It's inevitable, man. Okay. Our actions, all right, have a consequence attached to them. Okay, whether good or bad. It says, but I, the Lord, search all the hearts. This Jeremiah 17:10 in the NLT, and examine secret motives. That's another thing, man. Secret motives. Okay, you see things that no one knows, but you, but us. If it's off, man, there's gonna be a judgment, man. Even if our motives right, that's why we constantly examine ourselves to make sure we not off, man. We don't have any motives that's wicked, man. Okay, Psalm 17:10. Matter of fact, I get there. It says, but I, the Lord, search all the hearts and examine secret motives. I give all people their due rewards according to what their actions deserve. Okay, whatever is put out there is coming back. You see, and that's why we put out mercy because we understand we need mercy, man. Okay, that's why we separate from, all right, the darkness, because we don't want, all right, the recoil that comes with that, man. We're living now to obtain mercy, man, to obtain favor. Okay, doing the things that's pleasing, to our power. All right, but let's go here real quick, because this is why we have to truly examine ourselves and have an honest, assessment. Okay, so there's Psalms 19 and 14. Mm. I started at 12. All right, who said, who can understand his errors? All right, cleanse thou me from secret faults. And this is a prayer, man. You see, and we have to, have this mindset to be cleansed from secret faults, man. Okay, things that's lurking within us that ain't right. You see, that's why a major part of the truth, man, is self-examination and, personal development, man. And it says, keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me, because we're not free of sin, but they're presumptuous, deliberate, doing what you want to do and don't give a damn. Okay? Nah, man, we fall as we strive for righteousness, man. Okay? And we have, and that's the purpose of your house shop, was our mercy for our shortcoming, man. Okay? Your house shot didn't suffer so we can wild out and we can deliberately sin. No. He's a mercy for when we fall short. Okay? And said, then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. Yeah, because the Lord is finna, all right, hold the earth accountable for his behavior, especially here in America, man. Okay? And that blood of Yahweh Shai is gonna cover those, that are serving him. Okay, in truth and sincerity, man, and humility. All right, and there's a mercy in serving Yahweh Shai. You see, we get mercy from Yahweh Shai while we're serving Yahweh Shai. Okay, this blood just ain't for any, regular small Joe. No, it's for those that remnant, that predestined remnant that will be serving in truth and sincerity and humility, man. Okay, and it says, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart, my mind, be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Okay, so we pray that the words of the Lord, are acceptable. Okay, we pray that our mindset is acceptable to our powers, so it's an acceptable sacrifice, is pleasing. Okay, it's not going to be perfect, but the intent, is pleasing. You see, so let's go from there. Let's get Ecclesiastes 12 and 14. Because the chickens coming home to roost can go either way. Ecclesiastes 12 and 14. It says, for the Most High shall bring every work into judgment with every single thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Okay? So the Lord is going to bring every work into judgment, whether, I said, with every secret thing, all right? Going back to your true motives, whether it be good or whether it be evil. You see? So it can go either way. All right? But one thing that's for sure, okay, is those chickens coming home to roost, man. Okay? The actions are attached to consequence. You see? In this society, because going back to Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, this society, Ecclesiastes 8 and 11 says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil, man. Okay? So because consequences don't happen immediately, okay? Just because they don't happen immediately, people mindset, gets detached from consequences. They detach their actions from consequences. Okay? Like I'm watching Snowfall. I know I'm late as hell. Okay. But I'm watching Snowfall. And Franklin was in a dilemma, and he, people was warning him, before getting in the drug business. Okay, but his mind was like, it got to be a way I can do this where I don't die or go to prison. He's like, it's got to be a way I can do this without dying or going to prison. Well, no, because you can't detach, okay, their behavior. You can't try to romanticize and dress up wickedness and think you're gonna get different results. Okay, like Jacob sell these drugs and then they'll buy you know some bikes for the hood, for Christmas. Okay, hand out turkeys, but that doesn't, all right, cover, okay, you poisoning your own people. You're destroying families. You're creating an environment for failure. You're aiding Esau. Okay, you aiding the enemy and destroying your own people. Okay, so the buying bikes doesn't negate, okay, the consequences attached to those actions, man. You see, and every Jake think they're the ones that's going to figure out how to be able to do what they want to do without having to deal with consequences. That's not going to happen, man. Esau, he thinks he's going to attain immortality even though he's wicked, man. Immortality is linked to righteousness, man. Okay, you can't do what you want to do and obtain immortality. It don't work like that. Okay, so because there's been a delay in a major judgment in the earth. Okay, people have detached, okay, consequences from their actions. Well, now the Lord is bringing all them consequences at once. That's why it's finna be the baddest time ever, because it's all the consequences of this age, this world, okay, this society, there's all those consequences coming back. Okay, in a moment. Matter of fact, when it speaks about America, let's go to Isaiah 47. This is a good example. Isaiah 47. And I started at 6. It said, I was wroth with my people. So the Lord was angry with us, man. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thy hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. All right. So this man put a major yoke on us, man. Okay. Esau Edom, we was given into his hand, but he just went too far. He went way too hard. You see? And there's a consequence for that. All right. He wilded out on Jake, man. The things he was doing was too much, man. Bulk breaking and, making Jake pop their mothers and, you see, animal zoos and all. See, Esau, he went too far, experimenting on, on Jake women and, you know, he just went too far. All right. And it says, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy mind. Okay, neither did I remember the latter end of it. Let's read verse 7. You said in the NLT, it says, Isaiah 47:7 in the NLT, you said, I will reign forever as the queen of the world. Okay, so the mentality of Esau, especially, over here in America, man, okay, was that they was going to just be the superpower of the earth forever doing what they wanted to do. Okay, it says you did not reflect on your actions or think about their consequences. Okay, and this is why Esau catching hell with his new world order, because now those consequences are coming back. You see? And consequences is coming back now.
So now he's trying to pull off this new world order, but these consequences, all right, are beginning to come home. The chickens are coming home to roost on Esau now. Okay, so now he's fighting, okay, against his own negative, all right, doings, man, his own wicked doings. Okay, and it says, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment in one day. Because ultimately it's leading up to the missiles. You're gonna have, the time of tribulation, the worst time ever. All right, which is gonna overwhelm, okay, the society, especially here in America. Okay. But then it's gonna lead up to that, to those missiles, man, which are gonna destroy this place in an hour. Okay, and that's all those chickens coming home to roost, man. Okay, and the inhabitants of America, Esau, the heathen, beginning with Esau, 2/3. Okay, they're about to be caught up in it. You see? So reading on, it says, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. It goes into the actions, because Esau has used America to enchant the world in wickedness, man. That's why America, is going to be a complete desert, because America has been the home base of wickedness, man. Okay, that's why the missiles are coming to clear this place out. Okay, the elites have used America like a magic wand to enchant the world. Okay, and to being rebellious, man, to righteousness, man. Okay, and now those chickens are coming home to roost, man. You see, and it's gonna be in the form of thermonuclear destruction. All right, so that's the point. I leave with that, Lord will, you brothers. All right, and you sisters edified. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful like Shalom.